Well, before I take this off, I think by watching stuff online, I know what to do. You take this bolt off, or this nut off, and use something with the 2 pins and rotate this off. And then there's 2, that will let you take the grinding wheel off, and you take those 2 set screws off, and that's how you get the cover off. But before I get to that point, I figured, alright, if I'm going to be able to get this off, I might as well see if I can figure out what size belt I would need before then. So I had some cord. I used the belt to suck it around the pulley. So it's on the pulley on this side, as you can kind of see there. And when I pulled it tight, I measured it with a Sharpie, and it's about that long. So theoretically, if I stretched that out, that would get me the length. But it's not quite that straightforward, because nothing ever is. I can't drop the pulley down further. The other motor was smaller. So the other motor was able, and it had this piece on the opposite side. But this part was on this side for the other motor, so the smaller motor was able to fit in this direction, which means the pulley for the other motor was down here. You see that this is down lower than this. Well, you also see this. As long as my finger's not in the way. This was an attachment, I believe, to attach the dust collection thing that I don't have onto the original unit. But if it's down there, that thing's not in the way. If it's over here, you notice this is rubbing right on that piece. Well, trust me when I say, even though it may be hard to see, yeah, you can kind of see it. The white line right there is that running right on that piece. So this still may not work, even if I do that, unless I cut that off and adjust that piece, which I'd rather not do, but I might have to do because there may not be another way. I mean, it would not be that hard to cut that off and get it out of the way, but it's supposed to be there. I try not to mess with stuff that's supposed to be there. The next thing I need to do is at least straighten this out and measure between the 2 blue lines and see how long that is. And then see if, because I'm wondering, McMaster Car has awesome stuff. I've gotten quite a few things that I wasn't able to get somewhere else from there. They sell round textured belts. Well, this is a textured nylon rope belt or something. So if I get the length of this and figure it out in millimeters, I can see if I can get a belt from McMaster Car that may work without having to get a make-your-own round belt. That will still have a problem because this thing's going to be in the way, but that's a different issue. And I guess theoretically, if this was lower, that would also work. But that would mean I'd either have to, well, that would mean I'd have to make a different plate to go on this, or take this out entirely, which would be a challenge because that's pinned in place such that it won't really easily move. Stuff's never simple. I'll take the string out and measure it first. Alright, stretching it out and pulling it tight gets around 20.5 inches. 20.5 inches into metric, it's 2.54 centimeters per inch approximately, which is, since there's 10 millimeters per centimeter, that would be 25.4. So 20.5 times 25.4 is basically 521 millimeters. So I have to see if McMaster Car has a 521 approximately millimeter round belt. And looking on the McMaster Car website for 4 millimeter diameter, because I believe that's what the belt is, under the textured round belt section, this is textured round belts. So they grip better than regular round belts. They're strong and durable, etc., etc. So 521 they don't have. They have 559. 559 is the closest that would be. And that's $17.44 plus shipping. So now I get to figure out if that's going to work. But at least I know the approximate sizing. So we'll go from there. And I just realized something else. Because this is one of the fancy construction calculators. If I type in 20.5 and I push inches, that now thinks it's inches. And then I pick convert and I pick millimeters, it goes right to 520.7, which is what I got by multiplying it by the 2.54. But it's just funny, I didn't have to do the math, I could have just converted it. So now what I can do, if I do 559 millimeters and I convert that to inches, that's basically 22 inches. So if I figure out how, that's basically an inch and a half longer. So half an inch. I don't know if that's going to work because I only have about a half inch. If I do, it's at the very end of the travel. I only have a half inch on the travel for the table to slide out. So that might be too close to the very end for that to work. I might have to get a custom belt, which was the option in any case. And one of the guys on one of the forums said that he has the textured belt material and I could just give him the sizing and he'd make me one. So that may be another option, or the first option that I was going to do originally, but I figured if I could get it, if I could just order it, I don't have to bother him, but I might have to do it that way. Or get some of the belt material myself and just make one. That's another option. So I might do that. So I have to figure out what I want to do, but at least I know that it's basically 521 millimeters for this position of the motor at the approximate fairly tight tightness for the belt. And you'd want it fairly tight. When I got it, I should have checked the tightness of the belt, even though I don't really have a tightness meter to know how tight it was. But you don't want these super tight, but you want them tight enough so they don't slip on a regular basis. So, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But the big thing I have to figure out is what to do about that thing. Because that is in the way if I use this motor. And the plan is to use this motor. Oh, yeah, you can see. That's going to annoy me. I'm probably going to have to remake this pulley. Because you can see it go up and down when you spin it, and that's going to bug me. And it's probably not going to work as smooth as if it didn't do that. At least I learned. At least I didn't do even more turning for that. And all the operations worked. So I have all the parts. I can do all the bits as long as I get the hole closer. But I'm still probably going to wait on that till I actually try it with a belt to see if there is vibration because of it. And go from there. But first I have to get a belt. Fun stuff.